Interior design trends are always changing, and you want to stay on top of the latest styles.
We got a great guest for you, Audra Mel. She's going to show off some home decor that'll give you a very chic and authentic look. Also, I got to give a plug for their bakery in Fargo as well. Delicious, gluten-free, great stuff. We love it, and welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you so much. It's really nice to be here, you guys.
And so let's kind of talk about this idea that you have when you say a more authentic look in your home.
Sure. Well, basically what I brought today was a combination of items to create a popular farmhouse chic or cottage style. That's a very trending look, and vintage is very in. Those are very in elements to add to your home. So I brought a fair amount of vintage items. So we have this. This is great. This is an antique duck decoy, and I just love the patina on it. And here we have an antique coffee grinder, and I love this. And copper metals are becoming very in style in home decor, and this is Portuguese copper, if you will. Scales, old books, and a lot of this look was made popular by Joanna Gaines on HGTV's Fixer Upper. So it is a look that a lot of people are trying to emulate. So at Grace 1972, my store, we not only sell the items that you can utilize to create this look in your home, but I style it in a way so people can get ideas like, how do you use an antique suitcase? Where do you put that?
Right.
You can't really see it here. Here's one from my home. Everything else here is for sale in the store right now. But I also do a blog. I have a design blog where I show pictures from my home and show how people can utilize vintage suitcases for storage. Your storage doesn't need to be a plastic tote from Target. It can be a vintage suitcase perched on top of an armoire in your bedroom, nestled underneath another piece of furniture. It can be a focal point.
I think it's kind of neat because you take a look at some of this stuff, and I know that my family, I know we have one of these at home. I think we have an old duck decoy. So it's kind of nice to be able to say, hey, I have some of this stuff, but get ideas on where to actually, like, where would you put a duck decoy in your house?
Yeah, and what would you do with it? I love, for example, I love these antique pitchers and water bowls. So before plumbing, this is how people brush their teeth and wash their face every morning. But now we can give a nod to history and add this as a centerpiece in our home. I love putting lilacs in these. Quite honestly, I have them staged with faux florals, but I try to do a lot of fresh flowers in my home. And anytime I can stumble upon those and sell those in the store, those are absolutely fantastic. But yeah, you might recognize a lot of people have these. Here's a crock, and you can find these a lot of places, but they're becoming more and more rare. And this adds interest to your decor. So I love Home Goods and Target like everyone else, but it's really fun to find unique pieces that aren't like anyone else has.
So wait, what is this?
This is a crock. It's made of, it might, I don't think it's
Is it for moonshine or?
Maybe it was once.
It looks like those old Dukes.
Smell it in there, Kristen.
I brought a little something. No. Yeah, no. Don't smell it. I don't know.
So what would you do if you had this sitting in your grandparents' basement? What would you do with something like that?
I have several pieces like this, and I actually am lucky enough that our home was a custom build. We didn't do it, but someone else did, and we benefited from it. And there is a display shelf throughout the entire dining area of our kitchen, and I have a ton of crocks displayed there. And on my design blog, people can take a peek of my home and get ideas from how I display things too.
Something that I think a lot of people are attracted to this style is because it can kind of go with the decor you already have just by adding unique pieces.
Absolutely. It really fits into any style. Even if you like mid-century modern, you can still insert vintage pieces here and there, give a nod to history, add a conversation piece to your style. And quite honestly, I think something else about adding vintage to your home and to your decor, it is familiar. It kind of reminds us of Grandma's farm we used to visit, or just pieces of our childhood that were pleasant. And so I think it brings a really nice feeling into your home when you can just add a vintage piece. Maybe it's an heirloom, maybe it's a family heirloom, maybe it's something you got at a garage sale or an auction, but it is something that is unique.
It's something more comfortable. It's not all everything brand new, everything kind of sleek and modern. It kind of brings in some of that, oh, this is our family's history, or this is home.
Yes, it fits in, whether, like I said, whether your look is farmhouse chic or cottage, which is my look, or industrial or mid-century modern, you can find a vintage piece to slip into corners anywhere here and there that will work in your style.
You've got some pics too, if you want to kind of walk us through what you brought.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, this is my home office slash sunroom. We've been in our home about a year. It was built in 1993. And when we moved in, this room was very cabin-like. And it was dark. Even though it was a sunroom, you can tell the windows look dirty. They're not. There's tinting on the windows.
Oh,
and I
okay.
understand people like tinting on the windows, but I gotta be honest, it makes your windows look dirty. And we also had very dark wood blinds on these windows. And when we moved in, I knew I wanted to office from the space because it had a door, it was private, it was quiet. I'm a mom, kids are home being kids, after school or summer vacation. I needed a place to office from. So this is what it looked like the week we moved in. And then the next picture is what it looks like now.
Wow.
Wow.
Thank you. So this is where I office from, and these are the changes I made. First of all, I removed the tinting from all the windows, except the two triangular ones at the top. I'm doing that this summer. But all the other windows, you can tell it's much brighter. I changed out the window treatments, so they are a soft oatmeal Roman shade. I also painted the knotty pine. So some people may be gasping at the idea that I did paint the pine, but that was a cabin look, and I wanted a cottage look. So I painted the pine a soft blue, had all of the trim painted white. I did leave the ceiling knotty pine, so people can't be too upset. Switched out the light fixture. We left the flooring exactly the same, and all of the rest was just inserted through decor. So when you say you think decor doesn't make a difference,
Right.
it makes a huge difference. The desk actually came with our house. The former owner's husband ran his farm for several years from that desk. It was an antique roll top oak. I took off the roll top piece. I flanked it with a few pieces of shelving, and people might think, oh, you can't put it in front of the window. You're going to
Right.
obstruct the view. There's so many windows in this room, it didn't obstruct any view at all. And then I have a large ivory sofa, which I love, and but I had it in a main living area, and I have teenagers and children who like to eat chocolate, so I moved it into my
Cheetos.
office. So this is coming with me. And then the little table in the front is actually a piece I picked up, a pure one, but I didn't. The color didn't work for me. It was a really dark green, so I painted it blue. So that is an illustration of this look. I have incorporated a lot of these pieces. I have farmhouse pillows. I have pieces of vintage. There's an antique picnic basket on top of one of my shelves. That is a vintage crib off to the right. That is a family heirloom that my mom and my grandpa and myself actually slept in, that I've made it into seating. There's antique suitcases underneath of that vintage crib. I keep all my photo albums in there. So this look, I really do live it. I incorporate it and I blog about it to give people ideas so they can say and see, how do I do this in my house?
Right. Well, with so many people too moving into new homes, or maybe you know, older homes, it's kind of nice to see how you can just do a couple things to make it kind of your own place again.
Yeah, I don't live in an 1800s farmhouse. I live in Fargo, in South Fargo, in a 1990s build.
Right.
That was all oak and brass, and we have made a lot of changes to it.
Wow. And what's this?
This is I love windmills. So windmills were also made popular by Joanna Gaines on HGTV's Fixer Upper, and it adds texture and interest to your home. And again, another nod to history. If you love antiques, if you love vintage, would fit into absolutely any style. And we had this displayed in our shop, Grace 1972, and we had it displayed like this. And I have a few more left, and they're very, very popular.
Nice.
This is also the showroom floor at Grace 1972. So we have pieces of furniture that we have painted to be in a color palette that's a more cottage style, more farmhouse chic. That's actually an Ethan Allen piece way in the back that's been painted to be a little softer, if you will.
And it's just kind of one of those things. I like that you said you also set it up so people can see how they can maybe they have that china hutch that they just want to repaint, or you can show them kind of how to set things up in their home.
Exactly. This picture shows how you would style pieces like I brought to the show today. So you see copper in there. You see an antique scale. You see vintage bed springs, a couple cute little signs, some pieces of china, blue mason jars. So how does this all pull together? And I try to inspire people through my design blog and also through the store's styling to give them inspiration.
Oh, it's so comfortable
Beautiful
looking.
stuff, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Great. So,
So-
you've alluded to your blog a few times.
Yes.
What's the website?
Yeah, it is audramel.net. I wasn't really sure what to go with it. It was before I started the store. The blog started first and then the store came from there. So it's just audramel.net, and there on the main page, if you go to the top and pick shop Grace 1972, we don't ship. You can't do online shopping, but I do post pictures every week or so of the showroom floor. So if you're kind of wondering what Grace 1972 is looking like, you can go to my
Right.
blog and check out that page, or our Facebook page.
Or you can stop in the store too.
Exactly.
Mills Bakery.
Which is where? Give us the location again.
It's at 1404 33rd Street South. It is in the strip mall behind Shields Home and Hardware off of 13th Avenue South. And it used to be the winery for those Fargoans who remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe she'll still serve us wine if we go there.
No, we don't have
Out
a
of
liquor
this
license.
jug. That's what
Yeah,
I'm going
out
to
of that
request.
jug
Out of
with
this
some
jug.
great cupcakes, and then you can walk around and buy some fantastic stuff. Thank you very, very much. Great to have you here.
Thanks. It was
Oh,
great.
Stick
Thank you.
around. We'll wrap things up right after this.